welcome to the stage Rodney Burris.
So I was sitting in the truck with him, and he turned to me. He said, "You weak." I said, "What?" He said, "You weak, man." And that stuck with me. I was about 26 years old. We had a construction company, and we were sitting in a Ford F-150. He always had a big, dirty construction work truck, right? Full of tools and gum and everything else. Sitting in this truck in B-More, Park Heights, and I couldn't shake it. I couldn't shake it. See, that wasn't the first time he said something like that to me. All through my life, he would say something like, "See that? You get that from your mama." I always felt like I had something to prove. I remember being young, getting in fights with little dudes, and in my mind, my dad is over there. And I need him to see my dad wasn't nowhere around, but still, I'm just doing things in life, right? Just trying to prove to him that I could, that I was strong enough, that I wasn't weak. Scrolling Facebook sometime after, our conversation in the truck, and I saw an advertisement for something called the Savage Race. Now, the Savage Race is a part of these other series of races. The Tough Mudder, Spartan Race, it's for crazy people. It's for crazy people. It's miles and miles of running and obstacles, and you're jumping and you're climbing. But these obstacles got barbed wire. So one of the obstacles, something called the crybaby. The crybaby, you got to get on your hands and your knees, and you're crawling on your elbows, right? Because it's real tight. And above you is a tarp, like a blue tarp, but it's full of water. So it's pressing you down into the mud. And every time you move, just imagine you push here and it bulge back over here. You push here and it's rough and it's heavy. That's the I don't know if that was the cry. Oh, that's the crybaby, because it's blowing a little lightweight tear gas in your face, right? Just not too much. And so in the beginning, right, when you get there, I got there on a Saturday morning. It was 2,000 people there. I was there by myself. It was thousands of people there, but I didn't go with any other group. They said, "Don't come here without other people. You're going to need them," right? But I had something to prove. I need to prove that I wasn't weak, right? So I went out there and I initialed. "You're going to have a lot of fun. Sign your life away right here." I'm like, "Sign it. Sign here. Sign. Another one of the obstacles was something called, I'm forgetting the name of it. But it was little lightweight wires that was hanging down, and there was a little bit of water, and you had to balance across, and the wires were hot. Lightly hot. Light hot. A little bit. And so if you touch them, you touch the water, and then it's just this whole, dynamic of not touching the water, not touching the wire, and you get through. All this other kind of stuff, dumping under cold water and everything. So I was ready, because I had something to prove, because I wasn't weak. So I'm out there. Eastern Shore of Maryland is muddy, it's cold, it's raining on and off all day, and I'm out there and I'm ready to do it. So I'm running. About halfway through, miles and miles in, we get to this one obstacle, and I see these people, and they're supposed to jump from this thing that's about 40 feet up in the air. And it was this big dugout pond pool of dirty, muddy water that they just looked like they dug out and just filled with water, right? I don't know how deep it was. And there's a bunch of people around this ladder, and it goes up the ladder, there's a platform, and then you jump off. And they're waiting, and they're scared, and I'm like, this is easy. I'm like, excuse me. Yeah, excuse me. Go up the ladder. You get to the ladder on the platform, there's a waist-high bar. There's a guy over here that's kind of like keeping guard of things. You go under the bar. Once you're on the other side of that bar, you have to jump. They got more people that's coming up. But them people waiting, they scared. They not coming up here. So I climb right up. I go under the bar. I look down. You ever seen cartoons? You know when they in the ground, and then them, and they go away and they come back, and it's used. That happens. That's a real thing. It happens for real. And I knew I made a mistake, so I turned around. The man was like, no. And I'm like, I'm okay, man. Sir, I'm not weak. I'm okay, man. I'm just thinking about my jump. So I'm thinking, and I'm trying to figure out, and I'm like, I'm going to make all them people get off the ladder. It doesn't, excuse me. I'm going back down. I got to get off of here. So I'm trying to think about this, and as I'm on the other side of it, because I already came over, you can't come back. As I'm on the other side of this bar, and I'm thinking, and my body betrayed me because I was in the air. I didn't mean to jump. I didn't get pushed. He's over. What are you? I'm in the air. I'm jumping, and I don't know why. And now I'm falling, and I'm falling, and I'm falling. I'm falling, and who falls this? I'm falling for a long time, and I don't know why I'm falling for so long. And I can swim real good, but I fell for so long that my breathing to get my breath was off, so I had a little tiny bit of air. I'm underwater. I'm like, okay, well, the worst part is over. I'm in here now, so I go to swim. And I'm stroking, and I ain't going nowhere. And I'm like, but I know how to. I'm not breaking the surface. So remember earlier I mentioned barbed wire, right? I had on thin windbreaker pants. One of them ripped, and it was acting like a parachute. It was wide open. So I'm trying to swim, and it's just catching me and pulling me back with my own force. I'm losing breath. I didn't have but so much anyway. But I can swim. I'm good. I'm all right. I'm not all right. I'm not all right. I'm reviewing life happenings, things just good times, the bad times. I finally break the surface. There's a woman in the water. She has an orange flotation device. She's bringing it over, and she's like, "Sir, do you need this?" And I'm like, "Miss, man, first of all, I'm not weak, miss." People get things twisted, right? You gotta tell them. Hold yourself now. I've been swimming 10 years old. I'm good. That's what I was thinking. My mouth said, I can't swim. She comes over. She give me the float. I grab it like it's my grandmama. She pulled me over to the muddy side. I get out the thing, wipe my face. The man wanted to take my picture. He's like, you got something. Okay, so I go ahead. I keep running. That's only halfway through. Still more obstacles, climbing, jumping, wire stuff, climbing, monkey bar. Now, the monkey bars went up and then down, like up 10 feet and down, like this, right? Crazy stuff. I had a point to prove. So I get now to an obstacle that I thought I wasn't going to do. I thought I could do it, but then I realized I was going to have to hurt myself in order to do it. And if you quit any of the obstacles, you can, but you got to do a punishment quitter exercise. It's called burpees. I don't know if you guys are familiar. You jump on the ground, jump up, hit the ground. You had to do 30 of them. So I was like, I'm never doing burpees today. I'm going to finish all of this. I had a point to prove because I'm not weak. So I see this ramp. It's a plastic ramp. You got to run up the ramp, some feet. There's a knotted rope. You got to grab the rope, climb up to get over the top, slide down the bottom. Easy. It wasn't just one ramp. It was like a wall of plastic ramp. So it's a slope, right? Well, it's muddy. It's rainy. I've been in water jumping. Everything is slippery. I'm seeing people run up over there because I was kind of on the edge, and they sliding down. Shh. I'm like, I got this. I seen this on TV. I can do this. This is easy. So I go. Okay? So I couldn't do it. So then I did it again. Ran, and I planted my foot. And I realized that my foot slipped because it was wet, and I'm going forward into the wall instead of up to the rope. So I braced myself, right? I'm like, I ain't about to do this. So I go to quit. Well, up at the top is people helping. Don't do this by yourself. Come here with other people. It's a camaraderie spirit out there. It was a whole bunch. It's like a little cheerleader team of little girls out there. Like, come on, guy, we did it. I know ego shouldn't have been here, but ego's why I'm here today. Like, this is why I'm here. I had a point to prove. I'm not weak. I can do this. And so if these little girls could get up, they was muddy. They did the same stuff. I can do this, right? So I was like, I can do this, but I'm gonna hit this. If I run like I know how to run, I ran track. I know how to run. High knees, right? I know how to stay on a horse, right? Put them in front of you. If I do that in these conditions, if I plant my foot to jump, it is going to propel me into this wall. if I brace myself, great, but I won't be able to grab the rope. If I grab the rope, my face is going to hit this plastic hard wall. What y'all don't know is that as a teenager, I was in a basketball incident. I was playing against a cat named Marty. Marty was 6 foot, 6 foot, 6 foot, 6 foot, 6 foot, 6. 6 foot 6. And I was about 14 years old, and Marty jumped up in the air, and he came down, he protected the ball, rearranged my whole top, everything. I had root canals and braces and a whole bunch of stuff, right? So me agreeing to do this and hit this wall was me agreeing to put myself back through that trauma. But I had a point. He wasn't even there. Didn't matter. So I agreed, I committed to hit this wall. I didn't agree or commit to get up there. I committed, I was like, I'm gonna hit this wall. That's what it is. So I took off. High knees, going. Feet slipping on the beginning, on the little slope. I plant, boom. I jump up, put my hands up above my head to grab the rope, but I close my eyes because I know I'm about to hit this impact. Everything's gonna get bright real quick and then nothing. It is what it is, right? And I had the rope. And I grabbed the rope and I pulled myself up. I went over the top. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it because I agreed to rearrange my face on that wall. That was the agreement, right? I got over it, a couple more miles to run, had to jump over the fire pit. At the end of it, I was so exhilarated. I let out this roar, this primal, like, I did it. And there was a gentleman who was taking a picture of his family who happened to snap a picture of me. He was like, I got a photo of you, man, at the end. He was like, it's a good, you got to see it. So he sent it to me on my phone. He sent it to me on my phone. I had a point to prove. If you can see, that pants leg is ripped. You see that? All right, so I take this photo because now I got proof. I'm not just dirty, I got proof, Dad. I drive back to B-More, and I'm like, Pop, boom. He's like, what's this? I told him the whole story, and he was like, man, that's amazing. That's something. I was like, yeah, I ain't weak, though. He was like, what you mean? I was like, you said I was weak. We sitting in your truck. He's like, I didn't say that. I was like, Dad, we were sitting in the truck, such and such, having a conversation. He said, son, I never said you was weak. I said you were strong enough to be weak. I said, what? He then proceeded to tell me some story about some storm. Now, part of my childhood was in Florida, right? So we was in Florida. I'm a B-More cat, born in Baltimore, but part of my little stint was in Florida. And so we were down there. He was like, son, you got to think about a hurricane. He was like, in a hurricane, you got a mighty oak tree, standing strong, bristling in the wind, but ain't going nowhere. Strength. He said, you got a palm tree, bending, flopping. Everything, dropping dates, all this other kind of stuff. Dates are fruit. Dates are fruit. Dropping dates. So the tree is bending. Some of them will get that. Oh, date. So he was like, the next day after the hurricane, palm tree, all of that whipping and bending and all that. The palm tree over there standing. The oak tree, strong, shiny, is laid on the ground because the palm tree understood how to bend, how to give. He said the oak tree only knew how to be strong. It didn't know no other way. He was like, son, my whole life I've been a fighter. He said, my whole life I put hands on people. My whole life I've been in and out of getting locked up. I'm a construction worker. You done helped me start the company. He was like, I only have known how to be strong. And somewhere along the line, you learned how to not only be strong, but be strong enough to be weak. I still didn't like it. Respectfully, I still didn't like it. It was just, I wasn't ready yet. It took me some time to sit with that, right? Because that's some Obi-Wan Kenobi kind of like, my dad not even like a master's degree person, right? He's just, like that. Anyway, I had to sit with that, but I understand that he was trying to give me a compliment. Some years later, some buddies of mine, it was like, yo, this Tough Mudder Savage race is coming up. Y'all want to do it? I was like, yeah, I want to do it. That sounds great. I did it with them. I had a blast. It was so much fun. We helping each other. It was very hot this time. We were down in Richmond. And I just enjoyed the experience. I went back and told him about it. He was like, that's right, man. He's like, that's what I'm talking about. He was like, you got it. it was sinking in. 2 years ago, I'm 42. 2 years ago, when I was about 40 years old, we buried my dad on my birthday. And I remember they called me and they was like, you got to come identify him. You got to, these his belongings, sign for everything. And I remember they prepped him for the ceremony. And he looked so peaceful. He looked so calm. He looked like he had embodied the rest that he had been telling me about this whole time. He wasn't just strong, but he was now embracing this healthy, restful weakness. He looked so fragile, and he looks like he looked so good and comfortable and at peace after a lifetime of struggle. I wanted to take him out of there. I was like, I'm gonna make the 6 o'clock news today. This will be the day, because they not finna take my daddy. That's the Florida coming out. They not finna take my daddy. Not with him looking finally at peace. I'll be on the news for this. I let it ride. And I finally, after I called my sisters, I got 2 little sisters, and I told them about this whole thing. I finally understood within myself what he had been trying to tell me probably my whole life, all of them fights I had been in and all that other stuff that I had been a part of. And I've done pretty well in life, and I'm appreciative of it all. But he had been trying to tell me probably my whole life that I wasn't just weak, but that I had a strength that he didn't have, that I was strong enough to be weak. Allow me to honor my father. My name is Rodney C. Burris. Thank you guys so much.